This is News 8 Now, this morning.
Makes me very, very excited, that the Crown Act has been put in place. It's a great thing. It's sad that it's something that needs to be put in place.
It's a very difficult experience, and if we could find a vaccine that could prevent breast cancer, that would save so many women from the experience that I and others have had in the past.
In this Eurocentric environment, it's important for people of color to feel a sense of belonging here, and knowing that there was a history here of people of color. It might give people that live here who are otherwise marginalized some empowerment.
Good morning, everyone, and thanks for watching News 8 Now. I'm Dua Esrar.
And I'm Derek Sibley.
It is February 9th.
Yeah, almost Friday.
Almost Friday. Happy pre-Friday, everyone. And it was pretty lovely.
Yeah.
Lovely's kind of pushing it, but pretty warm.
It wasn't bad.
To kind of kick off the almost weekend.
Yeah, we've been dealing with these mild temperatures for these last several days. We can argue these last couple of weeks now, and hey, we'll take it. I don't think any of us are complaining about that. Now, we do have some changes though on the way. It is going to start to get cooler, especially as we head into tomorrow briefly before we warm right back up. But I do want to go ahead and show you what's happening right now with our current advisories, because we do have some changes here on your screen here. If we go ahead and take that, and you can see behind me, we are looking at winter weather advisories. Now, remember those winter storm watches that were in effect yesterday? Well, they have been canceled by the National Weather Service, and that's because they've been downgraded now to winter weather advisories because of that storm system that's moving our way, kind of moving a little bit further towards the east. So therefore, the impacts from the system are not going to be that bad, but none. To say the least, though, we are going to be looking at some snowy weather conditions still possible for portions of Crawford County and also into Richland County, where we have those advisories in place. Also tracking some snow showers out there. These are very light, though, on the radar. And really, to tell you the truth, a lot of these are not even really making it all the way down to the ground, according to the latest radar observations coming in. But it does look like we're starting to see some increasing moisture now. Temperatures currently into the 30s. Now, speaking of that moisture that I talked about, it's going to continue to remain cloudy because of all the moisture coming in from that system. There's a slight chance that we could be looking at some of those clouds kind of producing maybe a little bit of rain, maybe a little bit of snow. Kind of depends on where you are. We'll talk more about that in the full weather forecast a little bit later. Dua?
Thanks, Derek. Well, we begin this morning with a developing story. A Black River Falls School District staff member is on administrative leave after a Facebook video allegedly shows the instructor making racial comments towards a Native American student. The Black River Falls School District superintendent tells News 8 Now the district has placed the staff member on administrative leave and is investigating the incident. In a statement shared with district families, the superintendent writes the district will address the matter as appropriate, and that, quote, the statements made in the video in no way represent the views or beliefs of the SDBRF. We are deeply sorry this has happened, and we are committed to the success of all our students and expect all staff members to uphold that commitment each and every day. Black History Month is a time to acknowledge our country's history as well as its shortcomings. When Black Americans experience discrimination, it isn't always about the color of their skin. It could also be about their hair. News 8 Now's Emily Haugen spoke with a local salon owner who says decades of discrimination won't stop her.
Hair is a form of expression.
My hair changes so often. Like today, you'll see me with locks. Next week, you can see me and I can have nice, long, straight hair.
It's a chance to show personality.
Let's try that.
Connect.
Over here.
And in some cases, inspire.
I have a lot of nieces, and them growing up with that curly texture, I want them to grow up and love what they see.
For Choya Woods, hair acceptance wasn't simple.
It wasn't looked at in a good way to be a Black mother with a child with their black hair all over their heads.
It took her years to take her curls as they are.
It's hard to love something that you don't see a lot of.
Years that now fuel the work she does at Melanin Beauty Bar in La Crosse.
There was a need. And even today, I'm only one person.
Choya isn't the only Black American battling hair politics.
But our hair, it's Skin color, these are things that we can't change.
The Crown Act, a bill making its way through U.S. states, prohibits discrimination based on hair color and texture. It just passed in Minnesota, and it highlights a national trend.
Though it makes me very, very excited, that the Crown Act has been put in place, it's a great thing. It's sad that it's something that needs to be put in place.
UWL professor Richard Breaux says the hair struggle dates back centuries.
These are African Americans, right? White people saw them as less political if they straightened their hair.
Natural hair was seen as rebelling against the system, a rebellion that Breaux argues isn't rebellious at all.
Wearing their hair naturally in larger numbers is really just about, it's about individual freedom to be themselves.
In her salon on Rose Street, Choya agrees.
For me, resilience or resistance is simply just I'm not moving. I'm not moving.
Her hair is just that, an act of being herself.
And if we would have just had someone say to us, it's not a nap, it's not just frizz, these are curls and this is how you handle them, I think I would have loved them a lot more.
Now she's teaching other women to love their curls, too. In La Crosse, Emily Haugen, News 8 Now.
Choya isn't the only salon or barbershop that treats textured hair, but she's one of the very few in La Crosse. Choya is celebrating 4 years in business later this month. And also related to Black History Month, the La Crosse Public Library, visitors learned about important Black figures in La Crosse's history. The Enduring Families Project held a film screening highlighting African Americans who lived in the La Crosse area more than 100 years ago. The presentation covered the stories of Thomas Shivers and his family and Berletta Walden. The producer of this project says knowing the history of local Black families can be empowering to non-white folks.
In this Eurocentric environment, it's important for people of color to feel a sense of belonging here, and knowing that there was a history here of people of color. It might give people that live here who are otherwise marginalized some empowerment.
Christie says it might also give people who are not from a marginalized background a better idea of history that isn't often told. You can learn more about the Enduring Families Project on the La Crosse Historical Society's website. Big Brothers Big Sisters has hit the halfway point in their campaign to get 60 bigs in 60 days, but they need volunteers to make it through the final stretch. In January, BBBS started a campaign to get 60 people to be mentors by the end of March. Right now, they have 34 people willing to help. The organization's leaders are confident they'll fill all 60 spots. They say the benefits of having a friendship with a local kid can last a lifetime.
The hope is that they develop a really strong, lasting relationship that will last for years and years. We support the matches until the kid turns 18, but of course we have a lot of stories of relationships lasting the whole lifetime of the people involved.
There are many kids on the waiting list right now hoping to get matched with a big brother or sister. So if you'd like to be a mentor, you can sign up on the BBBS website. Every volunteer will go through a background check before being matched with a little. WisCorps needs your help keeping winter fun going in Myrick Park. They're running low on sleds at the sled library and are asking for donations. To donate, you can drop off sleds at the entrance of the Myrick Park Center. WisCorps is asking that if you donate a sled, you write Myrick Park Sled Library on the sled with a permanent marker. Hamilton Elementary School is going back to a traditional school schedule. Since 2013, students attended school year-round. The school district was originally made to help their students who were not attending school. Now, this change may affect many families. La Crosse School District Superintendent Aaron Engel says a partnership with the Boys and Girls Club may play a helpful role for families adjusting to this new schedule.
We'll be able to offer daily supervision of students from the 7 a.m. until 5 p.m. every day in that neighborhood at the Boys and Girls Club and at Hamilton Elementary School.
Northside Elementary School will stay on a year-round schedule. For the first time in history, 2 teams from Crucifixion's LEGO Robotics team are going to compete at the state competition.
Oh, I'm just proud of our team for making it this far, and I'm excited.
The school's robotics program helps teach kids how to design and program their very own robots. At competitions, those robots must complete tasks for teams to get points.
The challenge this year is to get all the energy, get as many energy modules as you can, and put them in places and get them from places. And then each year we have to make a little model of our project.
444 teams across Minnesota competed to get to state, and only 66 qualify for the state finals. The teams will head up to Minneapolis this weekend, and the competition will take place on Sunday. Well, still ahead on your morning news, the cleaner facing a recall after dangerous bacteria was found in millions of bottles, and the tips you need to save money if you're hosting a Super Bowl party this weekend. That's all coming up after the break. For now, we're sending you to break with something to put the good in your morning. Treat yourself to an extra slice of one of America's favorite foods. Today is National Pizza Day. It's a chance to appreciate the history of that cheesy, melty dish so many of us love. America's first pizzeria is believed to be in Lombardi's in New York, and it was established in 1905. According to nationaldaycalendar.com, the most popular type of pizza is pepperoni, but I'm more of a cheese gal myself. Don't go anywhere. More News 8 Now this morning after the break.
Well, welcome back and good morning. We are tracking a few light snow showers, mainly focused to the south. But I got to tell you, though, a lot of this is really very light in nature, and some of these are maybe just flurries, not even really making it all the way down to the surface, according to some of our weather stations that we have located down to the south. But we'll keep an eye on it. Temperatures into the upper 20s, low 30s across much of the area to work with this morning. Let's get checked on your zone forecast in La Crosse County. Now, your high temperatures today are going to be mainly into the upper 30s to low 40s. West Salem looking at a high of 39 degrees, and Holmen around 38 today. 36 in Viroqua, 39 in Lansing, and 39 will be your high temperature in Stoddard today. 38 in Arcadia today, and 39 in La Crosse, 38 in Blair for you. And as we head north, Eau Claire up towards Bloomer, 38 today for you. Augusta looking at highs right around 39 degrees. Let's get a check now on the bus stop forecast here for you this morning. Looking at a mainly cloudy sky, there is a chance of some wintry mix, though, forming mainly down to the south with temperatures at around 32 degrees. And as we take a look now on the heading home forecast, 39 degrees with mainly cloudy skies to work with too. So for your dog walking conditions out there this morning, well, cloudy skies. Again, watch out for some of that light wintry precipitation down to the south. Cloudy skies for the afternoon with a few light rain showers also possible once again for some of us by this evening. We'll have a check on that full weather forecast still to come next in weather.
After a series of crashes, Microsoft decided to finally share why. Turns out it's due to the revamping of Bing's search engine with the power of artificial intelligence. Microsoft plans to invest billions in OpenAI, the company behind ChatGPT. They believe the update will allow Bing to chat with users and generate question content. The updated Bing could be made available for the public as early as next Tuesday, but only a small group of users will have unlimited access. The Consumer Product Safety Commission says Fabuloso multi-purpose cleaners may contain harmful bacteria to people with weakened immune systems or lung conditions. The bacteria can enter the body if inhaled through the eyes or broken skin. People can check to see about getting a refund or replacement by contacting the Palmolive company. The Super Bowl is days away, and if you're hosting a party this year, it's going to cost you a little less for some items, but not all. Cole Higgins has some ways to save money on your big game day gathering.
Despite inflation and lingering shortages, your game day party is going to cost you less this year, except for one key item: alcohol.
That's always the most expensive part of a party. So it's important to think ahead in terms of what you're going to serve.
According to a new Wells Fargo Super Bowl food report, beer prices this year have jumped 11% from last year, with wine up 4% and spirits up 2%. And experts say it can be easy to go over budget if you're not careful. Kristen Mitchell has these 5 tips to rein in your spending without fumbling the fun. 1, tackle the food as a team.
Ask half of your guests to bring something salty and half of your guests to bring something sweet so you don't end up with either all chips or all dessert.
2, don't get lost on the sidelines. Keep side dishes simple. Whip up something using ingredients you already have at home or buy cheaper items like wings and guac. A pound of chicken wings is down 22% from last January, and the average retail price for an avocado is down 20% since last year. 3, skip the pre-made trays. Mitchell says they're often overpriced and you can make them yourself for much less. 4, be strategic. Mitchell recommends placing less expensive items at the start of the buffet line to save money.
They've actually found that people will choose more of the things at the beginning of the buffet. Makes sense, right? Your plate is empty, you're hungry, you load up your plate.
And finally, keep decor at a minimum. Remember, it's just for one day, and the highlight is the actual game.
The 57th Super Bowl is taking place this Sunday, February 12th at State Farm Stadium in Glendale, Arizona. Well, that's it for your consumer news. Let's check in with Derek and today's forecast, as well as what the weather might look like for Super Bowl Sunday.
All right, thanks so much for that, Dewey. Yeah, it's looking like it's going to be a pretty mild day for Sunday in terms of temperatures. So if you have any outdoor activities that you may be doing right before the game starts, I would definitely recommend that because it will be feeling nice. And we'll get to that 8-day forecast in just a second. But Eau Claire, right now, you're looking at 26 degrees. Pretty mild start for you, too. And Winona at 30 degrees. La Crosse, you're at the freezing mark now of 32 degrees. And look at the temperatures really here across the area into the upper 20s, low 30s here to start us off this morning. Now, there are some advisories. Winter weather alerts are still in effect. Remember those winter storm watches we had yesterday? Well, the National Weather Service went ahead and canceled those because that storm system that we've been talking about the last few days is expected to move a little bit further towards the east. So therefore, these have been now downgraded to winter weather advisories, and there are only a couple of counties highlighted. We have Crawford County as well as into Richland County looking at these winter weather advisories until 6 p.m. this evening for the possibility of those spots looking at some accumulating snow. And as far as the snow goes right now, well, a lot of this is very light, and the latest weather observations here for some of our weather stations, especially down in the south, do show that this is really not exactly making it to the ground. This is more aloft here in the atmosphere, but nonetheless, we'll keep an eye on it as it continues to give us some more moisture to work with, leading to cloudy weather conditions. You can see all the clouds here as well in the satellite picture associated with this low pressure system that continues to move off towards the northeast. So the further east it goes, the less impacts that we're going to see here across the Coulee region. And you'll see that here on Sky Tracker as well. We may see some light rain with a little bit of some light snow here for parts of the area throughout the morning. And then as those temperatures warm up into the upper 30s by noon today, a lot of this will transition more so towards some very light rain showers, and then maybe a few scattered showers are still possible for some of us around 3 o'clock, but very, very light stuff though. And then by 6 o'clock though, some light rain and some little bit of some light snow, maybe some possible across portions of our eastern zones. And then a lot of this is going to clear out by early this evening. And then we're left over with mainly cloudy weather conditions. Temperatures are going to drop into the low 20s as we head into overnight tonight under mostly cloudy skies. And then after midnight, around 5 a.m., we do expect that the majority of the clouds will clear out, leading to mostly clear skies just in time for your morning commute tomorrow after sunrise. Things are looking good here, and mostly sunny skies can be set here for tomorrow. The only thing is that it will be cooler behind that system. We can definitely tell you for sure that our temperatures are going to be dropping behind it into the 20s for the highs behind the system as it continues to track towards the northeast and away from us. Now, high pressure is going to start to build in across the Midwest as we head into the day tomorrow and through the day on Saturday, and that in turn is going to help keep our weather pattern quiet here, and you'll see that on the 8-day forecast. And then after this brief cool down tomorrow, we're going to warm right back up into the 40s for this weekend and also into most of next week. As a matter of fact, highs into the 40s. Our next storm system could be affecting us on Valentine's Day, giving us a chance of rain. We'll keep tabs on that in the future. But stay with us, though. We're back with much more news and weather still to come on News 8 Now this morning. But we are taking a quick break with a look at what happened on this day in history for February 9th. We'll be right back.
Welcome to The Blitz. This weekend, wrestlers all across the state will start their postseason journey during regionals. There are a ton of great wrestlers in the Cooley region, but down the Mississippi River, there's one wrestler who's trying to become just the 23rd four-time Wisconsin State champion. Our own Kate Overton introduces us to Rhett Koenig.
Meet Rhett. He's a senior at Prairie du Chien, a future Minnesota Golden Gopher, and a three-time Wisconsin Wrestling State champion. Rhett started wrestling in kindergarten, and it didn't take long for him to fall in love.
My dad always said, you know, you can do basketball, you can do wrestling, you can do whatever, just find what you like, but it didn't take long and I was hooked.
Not only was he hooked, but Rhett was good at such a young age, winning tournament after tournament. But it was his first year of youth state that he knew he could be special.
I got to the finals and lost, and I still remember it. I had never felt that way in my life, and I was like, I want to get better at this, and I need to keep going.
And that's exactly what he did, winning multiple Wisconsin youth state titles up until his first year of high school, where he was already one of the most experienced guys in the room.
I've always said Rhett is the most mentally developed high school wrestler we've ever coached because he thinks like a 30-year-old man.
His fast development helped him win his first state title in 2020 at 106 pounds. And a second time at 113, and most recently at 132. With such accolades comes great responsibility, but Rhett handles that role just as well as anyone.
Everyone knows he's the best guy in the room, and everybody's just trying to match his pace every day, and that just brings more character to our team and just makes us better.
You know, he brings everybody up to his level, you know what I mean? He sets a benchmark in our room with his work ethic, with his time and dedication. He helps out with our youth level. I mean, you know, Rhett Koenig represents Prairie du Chien wrestling.
For this year, Rhett says he's ready for this moment. It's just a matter of getting his mind right and going to work.
I just need to understand that right now, more than any time, it's going to be about my mentality. That's what's going to win matches from now on.
A mindset made for a champion. Reporting from La Crosse, Kate Overton, News 8 Now.
Rhett says the most important title he wants to bring home is the team state title. The Blackhawks have fallen short the last 3 years. Let's hit the ice. Playoff hockey last night in Winona. First home playoff game in 10 years for the program. Windhawks hosting Austin, and the home team was ready. First period, Kaja Kovala gets a stick on it. That finds the back of the net. It's 1-0 Winona. Second period now, same score, puck's loose. Kelsey Rose takes advantage. She blasted home to make it 2-0 Windhawks, and Winona keeping the pressure on all night. Later in the second, a flick of the wrist from Asta Griggs. Windhawks in complete control, up 3. And how about this? Make it 4. Kovala sneaking one through for her second goal of the night. Winona Cotter La Crescent Co-op showing up in the playoffs. Windhawks get the win 4-1. They'll take on Dodge County Saturday night. College hoops last night at Mitchell Hall. UWL hosting UW Stout. First half, Austin Westra. Nice dish to Torin Hanna. He connects from deep. Eagles rolling early. A couple plays later, same pass, same spot, same result. This time, Will Furman with the corner 3. UWL up 8. Blue Devils won't let up quite yet. First one doesn't fall. Aiden Shore is there for the putback. But Wednesday night belonged to the home team. Later in the half, Westra gets the tough hook to drop, plus the foul. Eagles go up 11, and in the second half, La Crosse pulling away. Craig Steele, corner 3. Yes, sir. Eagles soar past UW Stout, 82-42. That's going to do it for the Blitz. We'll see you tonight.
Supporters of a man who was shot and killed by a Dane County Sheriff's Office deputy in Windsor last fall once again called for justice for Quantaze Campbell at the steps of the Dane County Courthouse. Just days after the district attorney's office said it will not be charging Deputy Cody Woods. The protesters, led by Freedom Inc., pushed for Woods to be fired and DA Ismail Ozan to resign.
Video showed Officer Cody Woods taking a black life, and Ozan continues to show no remorse, no care, and no concern.
The Dane County Sheriff's Office is currently undertaking their own administrative review of the incident, during which Deputy Woods will remain on leave. Governor Tony Evers wants to make it harder for the legislature to block conservationists from to buy the land. The governor's proposal includes an increase in steps for stopping these projects and to repeal a requirement that requires land in northern Wisconsin to be subject to legislative review. Governor Evers also wants purchases under a DNR stewardship program from $250,000 to $500,000. Evers wants any member of the legislature who objects to land purchases to be named publicly. Right now, lawmakers can object anonymously to delay or kill projects. Veterans across Wisconsin are being affected by limited access they have to resources. Governor Tony Evers plans to make resources more accessible to military veterans. He says he is working with mental health officials to not only create jobs, but also help veterans get the help they need. Another program that he plans to help veterans with is expanding the eligibility of property tax relief for veterans across the state.
Eligibility for property tax relief for veterans, extending that to another several thousand veterans across the state of Wisconsin. That will bring in that will cause about $40 million in tax relief for veterans who qualify.
Another resource for veterans that Evers looks to improve on is rental assistance. The Coulee Cap program here in La Crosse is one of those projects to help build and make housing affordable. Less than 24 hours after President Biden's State of the Union address, he kicked off a nationwide tour. He visited Wisconsin to speak about how the economy is strong because of all of the good-paying jobs the country has added within Biden's first 2 years in office, along with his future economic plans and investments in the workforce with the bipartisan infrastructure bill.
Laborers here in Wisconsin, union workers across the country are seeing it firsthand. I've said many times, Wall Street did not build this country. The middle class built the country, and unions built the middle class. That's a fact.
The president also pledged to preserve Social Security and Medicare benefit programs. In our medical news today, DFL lawmakers in charge at the Minnesota State Capitol advanced a bill that protects providers and patients in Minnesota from legal consequences in other states. Minnesota's Reproductive Freedom Defense Act would prohibit extraditing, arresting, or releasing medical records of someone who received an abortion in Minnesota but is from an abolished abortion state.
Minnesota needs to act decisively to protect our citizens and the people who travel here seeking care from the punitive whims of lawmakers and courts in other states.
Under this new act, providers also wouldn't face disciplinary action by Minnesota's medical board if convicted of providing an abortion illegally somewhere else. Back in Wisconsin, UW's Carbone Cancer Center is one of 3 institutions in the nation participating in breast cancer vaccine trial. It's designed to prevent the return of a triple-negative breast cancer, which is about 10 to 15% of all breast cancer diagnoses and is often found in Black women younger than 40. A UW pharmacy professor who beat breast cancer in 2019 is now the first participant to get the vaccine. She says joining this trial was an easy choice.
It's a very difficult experience, and if we could find a vaccine that could prevent breast cancer, that would save so many women from the experience that I and others have had in the past.
The trial is recruiting 30 to 35 patients nationwide who are between 1 month and 3 years removed from the end of their cancer treatment. Creating something more recognizable is one reason a redesign in Minnesota's state flag is up for debate again. Although there is a redesign bill in the legislature, Marielle Moe shows us how St. Paul 7th graders are already one step ahead of their lawmakers.
It bothers me, kind of. If it's more brighter and it's more simplistic, people will be more proud of it rather than the big seal we have.
I think we should remake it to make it more of what Minnesota is today.
These South St. Paul 7th graders are not the biggest fans of what the Minnesota state flag looks like today. All blue with a state seal in the middle.
Our state bird, the loon, I think I'd like to recognize that more.
So they took what they're proud of about our states and reimagined what the flag could look like.
You do have the loon, you have the eye of the loon, but the North Star.
South St. Paul history teacher Mark Westfall shows off what his class came up with.
Marissa came up with the main concept.
Marissa Miller came up with this design that mainly looks like a loon, but she says there's even more meaning to it. The blue is the rivers and lakes. The red around the eye represents Fort Snelling. The white dots of the loon stand for all the Dakota and Ojibwe tribes.
Everyone should be included in it.
I wanted to incorporate it into my class because it taught us a little bit more about the government process in general, but it also really gave my students an opportunity to explore what the history of our flag really means.
Westfall hopes these flag ideas make their way in front of lawmakers so they can be part of the history they're learning about.
We can always tell more of the story. It's not that we're taking away from the story that was there.
This new bill continues to move through Senate and House committees. If it passes, the bill says the redesign would need to be done by January of next year.
Well, it sure is a pretty cloudy start out there for many spots, but some of us are looking at a little bit of some rain or some snow, mainly down to the south, though. Current conditions here in La Crosse are at 32 degrees. We do have a feel-like temperature, though, of 24 when you factor in the 10-mile-per-hour winds that we have coming out of the northwest. And as far as the rest of your day goes today, looking at mainly cloudy skies. Pretty mild, though, in terms of temperatures, with highs mainly into those mid to upper 30s. There is a slight chance that you may run to a very brief rain shower or snow shower out there, depending on where you are, especially mainly to the south, too. 39 degrees with cloudy skies. Rain, snow here possible in some spots. North-northwest winds at 10 to 20 miles an hour. For tonight, we drop temperatures down to about 18 degrees. It's going to start off pretty cloudy early, but then we start to see the clouds clear out later at night with winds out of the northwest at 10 to 20 miles an hour. For your DriveCast, conditions on the roadways, especially to the south, look a little bit on the slippery side, so watch out for that with some of that rain and snow, but cloudy skies for the mid-commute. And then as we take you into the evening commute, we could run to a few light rain showers here in some spots as well. We'll talk more about this in the full weather forecast coming up in a little bit later, but also for your Buzz Report, Disney has announced which popular films are on their way to getting more sequels. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Well, it sure is a very cloudy start for most of us outside right now, with current temperatures into the 20s across the area. Some spots, though, like Winona, currently at 32 degrees, though, and La Crosse currently at 32. But Eau Claire, some of the cooler spots, currently at 26 degrees. Meanwhile, temperatures across the rest of the area are into the 20s and 30s. 32 in La Crosse, as you just saw. 34 right now in Viroqua. Basketball currently at 36 degrees. Winter weather advisories are in effect across our southern zones. This is actually what is replacing that winter storm watch that we were dealing with yesterday. That has been canceled by the National Weather Service. And it's because of that storm system that is moving away. And there's only a couple of counties right now that are highlighted underneath this advisory. You can see Crawford County and also east into Richland County looking at this advisory until 6 p.m. this evening. And that's because we could be dealing with some accumulating snow that could become possible in some of these spots. And as of right now, we are tracking some snow, but this is mainly down to the south. And really a lot of this, I could tell you, is really not exactly making it all the way down to the surface because it's not enough moisture really, but there is some moisture though that continues to move towards the north, and we are tracking this mainly again across our southern zones. Very, very light stuff though in the form of mostly some snow flurry action, but the heavier stuff is mainly focused down to the south, associated with this low pressure system that continues to track towards the northeast and away from our general location. Now, the further east that it tracks, the less impacts that we're going to have here across the Coulee region, and that is what it's currently shaping out to be. And we'll take you into Sky Tracker right now, and you can see that we may be looking at some light winter mix here for portions of our south central zones, but the rest of us looking at a few light snow spots here through at least the early part of the morning. As temperatures rise, we're going to be looking at some of this transitioning more so towards rain here by the early afternoon, whatever left over of that, and then some scattered showers that could linger into around the 3 o'clock hour here today before a lot of this begins to come to a close later on. But by 6, still looking at some rain, maybe mixing in with some snow off towards the east. 9 o'clock tonight, a lot of this does come to a close with mainly cloudy skies kind of lasting through the overnight hours. And then after midnight, I do expect a lot of us to turn mostly clear. A few scattered clouds here remaining off to the east though around tomorrow morning at 5. And then after that, 9 o'clock tomorrow morning after sunrise, lots of sunshine to work with. Look at the temperatures, though, dropping into the teens behind that system, giving us some cooler air to work with. Even our temperatures tomorrow afternoon looking generally cooler with highs into the 20s under clear weather conditions to work with. So let's talk about what's coming next. After the system exits the area, we're going to be looking at high pressure building across the Midwest, and that's going to give us some quiet weather conditions to work with for tomorrow. And really the same could be said as we head into the weekend as well. We're going to be under a stable air mass of high pressure that continues to work in behind that low that's moving in today. And that's going to give us nice sunny conditions for tomorrow and Saturday. Could see a few more clouds, though, sneak in here on Sunday, but still temperatures pretty mild through Monday, though. And we're going to be looking at another chance of rain moving in from our next system coming in on Valentine's Day. And then after that, still looking pretty mild, cloudy for much of next week on Wednesday and Thursday. Lows mainly into the 20s and low 30s, especially for next week.
Matthew McConaughey is the man behind the voice in a new adult animated action series, Agent Elvis.
Every once in a while, man accomplishes the impossible. All it takes is someone with...
The Netflix show follows Elvis Presley, who trades in his white jumpsuit for a jetpack to help battle the dark forces that threaten the country. Priscilla Presley is one of the co-creators and executive producers. Agent Elvis streams next month. Disney is rolling out more animated sequels. CEO Bob Iger has announced a 5th Toy Story movie, a 3rd Frozen movie, and a 2nd Zootopia. They're all in the works. The most recent installments in each franchise earned more than $1 billion worldwide. Well, before we head to break, it's time for today's Look Who's 8, but before we get to that, Derek, what are your thoughts on sequels?
I like sequels, but it has to make sense, though. Like, I don't know, if the movie wasn't that great, then it's just like, why even bother making a sequel? It has to have a continued story, I think, you know what I mean, for that to happen. But yeah.
I agree with that, actually.
Yeah, so let's get to our birthdays here, Dua. We want to wish Keegan a happy 8th birthday. Now, he loves to hunt, fish, and play sports.
Happy 88th birthday to Dorothy. She is a sweet, fun-loving mom who loves to bake lemon poppy seed bread for everyone she loves.
Well, if you know a special someone turning 8 months, 8 years, 18, 80, or 88 years old soon, we'd love to feature them.
Just upload their photo to our website, news8000.com, and look for the Submit Pictures button under the Home tab on our website. While staying with us, we have everything you need to know today in 5 minutes or less. Your morning news now is up next. Time for your morning news now. Biden's State of the Union address, he kicked off a nationwide tour. Biden visited Wisconsin to talk about how the economy is strong because of all of the good-paying jobs the country has added within Biden's first 2 years in office, along with his future economic plans and investments in the workforce with the bipartisan infrastructure bill.
Laborers here in Wisconsin, union workers across the country are seeing it firsthand. I've said many times, Wall Street did not build this country. The middle class built the country, and unions built the middle class. That's a fact.
The president also pledged to preserve Social Security and Medicare benefit programs. Big Brothers Big Sisters has hit the halfway point in their campaign to get 60 bigs in 60 days, but they need volunteers to make it through the final stretch. In January, BBBS started a campaign to get 60 people to be mentors by the end of March. Right now, they have 34 people that are willing to help. The organization's leaders are confident they'll fill all 60 spots. They say the benefits of having a friendship with a local kid can last a lifetime.
The hope is that they develop a really strong, lasting relationship that will last for years and years. We support the matches until the kid turns 18. But of course, we have a lot of stories of relationships lasting the whole lifetime of the people involved.
There are many kids on the waiting list right now hoping to get matched with a big brother or sister. So if you'd like to be a mentor, you can sign up on the BBBS website. Every volunteer will go through a background check before being matched with a little. Wiscor needs your help keeping winter fun going in Myrick Park. They're running low on sleds at the sled library and are asking for donations. To donate, you can drop off sleds at the entrance of the Myrick Park Center. If you do donate, Wiscor asks that you write Myrick Park Sled Library on the sled with a permanent marker. Hamilton Elementary School is going back to a traditional school schedule. Since 2013, students attended school year-round. The school district was originally made to help students who were not attending school. Now, this change may affect many families. La Crosse School District Superintendent Aaron Engel says a partnership with the Boys and Girls Club may play a helpful role for families adjusting to the new schedule.
We'll be able to offer daily supervision of students from the 7 a.m. until 5 p.m. every day in that neighborhood at the Boys and Girls Club and at Hamilton Elementary School.
Northside Elementary School will stay on a year-round schedule. At the La Crosse Public Library, visitors learned about important Black figures in La Crosse's history. The Enduring Families Project held a film screening highlighting African Americans who lived in the La Crosse area more than 100 years ago. The presentation covered the stories of Thomas Shivers and his family and Burletta Walden. The producer of this project says knowing the history of local Black families can be empowering to non-white folks.
In this Eurocentric environment, it's important for people of color to feel a sense of belonging here, and knowing that there was a history here of people of color. It might give people that live here who are otherwise marginalized some empowerment.
Christie says it might also give people who are not from a marginalized background a better idea of history that isn't often told. You can learn more about the Enduring Families Project on the La Crosse Historical Society's website.
And as you head out the door this morning, we are still tracking a few snow showers, but these are very, very light, though, as they continue to move towards the north. A lot of us really, though, are just dealing with mainly cloudy skies. Only a slight chance of a rain or snow shower is possible. High temperatures today into those mid to upper 30s. We could be running into another chance, maybe seeing some wet weather here as we head to the late afternoon to the early evening hours here. Something that we'll be monitoring, closely. If you have any weekend plans, it's looking good, because after tomorrow, it's going to be, warmer, because tomorrow's going to be cooler behind that system. Highs warm up into the 40s this weekend and also into next week. Could be running into our next best chance of rain, too, come Valentine's Day on Tuesday. Something what we'll be monitoring here as we get closer towards next week.
Yeah. Now, a couple things. We have seen some school delays just because of the rain.
Yeah, because of that winter weather down to the south. I can't blame them. Definitely want to keep tabs on that. It's better to be safe than sorry, I guess, out there on the roads this morning.
And for Super Bowl Sunday, Derek, what's your favorite Super Bowl snack?
Super Bowl snack? Man, I got to go with some chicken wings.
I'm a chips and salsa gal.
That too. Yeah, I can go with that.
Can never go wrong with it. All right, well, thank you for watching News 8 Now this morning. Be sure to stay updated with us on the News 8000 app, and you can catch us back here at noon with more updates and more news. Thank you for watching. We'll see you back here later.